today we're going to head the farthest south that Back to the Peaceful Sea has been thus far. It's one of the farthest places south in the world that you can go anyway, besides Antarctica. So we're going to go to New Zealand, which was an incredibly beautiful country. We actually only got to see the North Island while we were there, so all of this will be about the North Island, and whenever we go back, we will do another video on the South Island. So, round trip flights. Unfortunately, hard to get a cheap one into New Zealand. They range anywhere from $779 to $840, depending on what time of year you go. So no matter what, you're going to spend a little bit of money on the plane ticket. So really no avoiding it. As far as hostels or accommodations, we would highly suggest camping the entire time you're there, like we did in Iceland. It's one of the few countries that has free camping, wild camping, anywhere you want, as long as it's not private property. You can camp pretty much everywhere. So we're going to say $0 on the cheap option. Stay in the countryside and enjoy yourself. Enjoy that nature because it is incredible. On the more expensive side, we're going to say $105 for the whole week. It just depends on where you are and where you happen to go to stay. That still includes some camping, so keep that in mind. As far as food and drink, if you're camping, you're obviously going to be cooking your own food most of the time. $126, I'd say, total for 2 weeks. It's about $9 a day. $14 a day seems to work out okay for cooking a little bit less, but still cooking about 1, maybe 2 meals a day. It just depends. As far as transportation while you're there, we would suggest renting a car from Juicy Rentals, Jucy. We didn't do this, even though we knew about it, and we regret not doing it. They have really cheap rentals. You can rent a car for $16 US a day, which comes out to about $224 for the entire time you're there. Which, for a car rental with unlimited miles, you can go so far and see so many things. We would suggest renting from Juicy. They have a little bit more expensive ones as well. They even have camper vans if you want to do that. They're slightly more expensive. I think they're about $50 a day for a camper van, which would eliminate your hostel or your accommodations otherwise, so that might be an option as well. Some of the stuff to do there, especially the stuff involving Lord of the Rings, can be a bit pricey, although touring Hobbiton was one of the highlights of the entire first trip for us, so well worth it to see where those little hobbits used to live. As far as places to go, while we were there, we started in Auckland, which is the capital, and it's in the northernmost part of the North Island. And then we took a bus down to Matamata, which is where Hobbiton is, and we stayed there for a couple days. Then we went to Rotorua, which had some nice camping and some really cool nature hikes through some hills and through the redwoods of New Zealand. Taupo also is home to the largest freshwater lake in the southern hemisphere, and it was stunning. It was so good and so beautiful, and it had one of the best hikes I've ever been on, about 45 minutes south of Taupo. So it's called the Tongariro Crossing, and I would highly advise it if you're going to go hiking while you're in New Zealand. As far as New Zealand, it's a little more on the expensive side of the trips that we've detailed for you so far. It's going to be hard to stay under $1,000. I don't think we could do it if we went back just for a 2-week trip to New Zealand. So anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 is probably going to be your cheap zone. So keep that in mind when you're planning a trip to New Zealand. That's it for today. Next week we're going to start bringing you a new series, and we'll start alternating between traveling cheaply and city guides. So next week will be Santorini, Greece. We'll give you some advice on what to do and how to get there. So until next week, subscribe to us on YouTube, spread the word about our channel, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and we will see you next week.